Fun fact, the first car only succeeded because the inventor's wife got tired of waiting and took it on a road trip. And no, that's not a joke. Let's talk about how the car was really invented. Chapter 1. A world without cars. Before cars, the world moved at the speed of animals. Not metaphorically, literally. If you wanted to go somewhere, you walked. If you were lucky, you rode on a horse. If you were wealthy, you sat inside a carriage pulled by animals that required food, rest, care, and constant cleanup. Cities weren't built for people, they were built for horses. Streets were narrow, muddy, loud, filled with the waste of entire industries just existed just to manage animal transportation. Stables, feed suppliers, farriers, wagon builders. And despite all of this, nobody thought the system was broken. The most important part, innovation usually happens when society demands change, but the automobile didn't come from demand, it came from obsession. In the late 1800s, the idea of a self-powered personal vehicle sounded absurd. Engines were associated with factories and trains, large, dangerous, and very unreliable. The idea that one could be small, portable, and trusted with humans felt reckless even. So when people talked about early adopters, understand this, there were none, which means the first car wasn't built for customers. It was built because one man refused to stop thinking about a problem no one else cared about. Karl Benz and the invention that nobody wanted. Karl Benz was not a visionary salesman. He was not very charismatic. He was not very persuasive, and he was definitely not very good with money. Sounds like me. Karl Benz was an engineer, maybe not me. Brilliant, stubborn, and painfully focused. He believed internal combustion engines could do more than power machines. They could just move people. And at the time, this belief bordered on insanity. Engines vibrated, they overheated, and they failed constantly. Steam engines already existed, but they were heavy, slow to start, and dangerous. Gas engines were even worse. They were very unpredictable and had the tendency to explode. Still, Karl Benz persisted. He failed repeatedly. His companies collapsed, investors left, and bills began piling up. What kept him going wasn't success. It was Bertha Benz. Bertha wasn't just emotional support. She was the financial foundation. Her dowry, her personal money funded Karl's experiments. When businesses failed, her money kept him alive. When confidence vanished, hers didn't. And in 1885, Karl finally assembled something radical. The Benz patent motor wagon. It had 3 wheels because steering 4 was too complex at the time, a tubular steel frame, 1 single-cylinder internal combustion engine. It produced barely any power. It struggled on hills and it broke often. But it moved. And in 1886, Karl Benz patented. The first automobile was born. And the world responded with indifference, actually. No crowds, no excitement, no buyers. Karl Benz had just invented the car, but he failed to convince anyone it mattered. Chapter 3. Bertha Benz, the first driver, mechanic, and marketer. In 1888, Bertha Benz made a decision without consulting her husband. She took the motor wagon, she took her 2 sons, and she chose a destination over 100 kilometers away, and she left. This was not a rebellion, this was strategy. Bertha understood something Karl didn't. An innovation doesn't succeed because it exists, it succeeds because people see it working. This became the first long-distance automobile journey in history. There were no roads designed for cars. There was no traffic laws, and there was no repair infrastructure. And critically, there was no fuel system. Gasoline wasn't produced yet. So when the motor wagon needed fuel, Bertha stopped at a pharmacy and bought Lagroin, a petroleum-based cleaning solvent. That pharmacy is now recognized as the world's first gasoline station. The car broke down repeatedly. Bertha would fix it. She unclogged fuel lines with a hat pin. She insulated exposed wires with her garter. She noticed the brakes were dangerously inefficient downhill and commissioned the first brake line and upgrade in history. Bertha didn't just drive the car, she engineered it in real time. Villagers would gather, farmers stopped working, people followed the machine in disbelief. A vehicle moved without animals pulling it, not as a demonstration and not as a stunt, but just as common transportation. Chapter 4: The Genesis of the Automobile. When Bertha returned, Karl Benz understood something fundamental. The invention wasn't the problem, trust was. Bertha's journey proved the automobile could travel real distances, be repaired in the real world, and replace horses entirely. Suddenly, the car wasn't theoretical, it was inevitable. Sales followed, competitors would emerge, and an industry was born out of nothing. Every car today traces back to this moment: traffic, highways, motorsports, suburbs, global logistics. Karl Benz invented automobiles, but Bertha Benz forced it to survive. The automobile didn't begin with speed, it began with belief. So remember, the first car didn't change the world when it was invented. It changed the world when someone was brave enough to drive it. And this has been a fun fact with Josh. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.